AOG, I'm PKLU, and you're welcome to Run with Life, a podcast where we talk about a bunch of topics, or we keep it mostly productive. And I know you have a lot of questions. Why start a podcast? Why now? Who are you? But these are all questions that I will be answering in today's Run with Life. Running from supper every day. So who is PKLU? In one word, I would like to describe myself as an all-round creative. At a very young age, I expressed this creativity through drawing. When I entered university, I expressed the creativity through making music, and I still express my creativity through making music. Alongside making music, I became a content creator, creating content around my music. But currently, I work as a video editor, and this podcast is just another means I'm using to express that creativity. Now to the next point, why start a podcast? It all started when I realized to make music, I needed money. And I was down bad. I was broke. To make money, I needed a skill I could leverage. And as I mentioned, being a creative, I learned how to edit my own videos. But I got quite good at it, and I decided to improve that skill and become a professional video editor, which I did. But that opened me up to a whole new world. A world of working for multiple hours, facing burnout, trying to find balance, trying to find discipline, understanding that motivation isn't everything. So there are a lot of things I'm still struggling with as a person, and there are a lot of things I've struggled with and overcome that I would like to share. I feel like a lot of people will relate to this because we're in a day and age where a lot of people are working, whether you're in a 9 to 5 or you're a freelancer, or you're just a person trying to develop and improve yourself. That's the kind of person I am. And I feel like you can relate to the kind of things that I will be talking about on this podcast. Now to the next point. Why Run with Life? Run with Life was a name I thought of after loads of brainstorming. I had different names I wanted to name the podcast. I had different ideas, but I kind of like stuck with Run with Life because it best defines what I'm going for. In my search for balance, discipline, and productivity, I fell in love. I fell in love with running. And I would say that's one of the best things that happened to me in the year 2024. Because in the year 2024, I personally said, I want to be consistent with just one thing. And if I can be consistent with that one thing, this year would be a success. So I thought running was going to be what I would be consistent with. And I achieved it. In the year 2024, I completed over 150 runs, and I almost crossed the milestone of 1,000 kilometers. I think at the end of the year, it was somewhere around 900 or 800 kilometers run that year. That felt great. It was an accomplishment. I had successfully found something that I can be consistent with. I'm not the best runner or the fastest runner out there, but compared to other things in my life, I can say I found success in running. One day, I thought of how much of a mess my life was, and I said, if only I can replicate the success I have in running and the things that running has taught me into my life, I might become the best version of myself. Now, this is the beginning of my journey, trying to replicate what made me consistent and successful in running into my daily life. So to recap, the podcast, Run with Life, was named Run with Life because I see this podcast as an opportunity to talk about topics that help me replicate the success I found in running and the consistency I found in running into my daily life so that I can be, and you can be, we can all be better versions of ourselves. So for the third point, why now? Why not? The only reason I'm doing this podcast right now is because I've procrastinated a lot for months, days, weeks, and the list goes on. But finally, glory be to God, we are finally doing it. It gets a lot easier when you start, to the point where you even start thinking, why didn't I do this 2 years ago? Why didn't I do this yesterday? Like, this wasn't so hard to start. And I'm just grateful that I have the privilege of sharing my experience here to whoever chooses to listen. This podcast will not be like your regular podcast that you might be used to. as I might not be bringing on any guests for the first few episodes or the first couple episodes of the podcast. Currently, I plan to make it a solo podcast until I feel like I'm comfortable with what I do, and then I can bring on guests. So for conclusion, I know that by this point, you should understand what to expect from Run with Life. This is something I'm starting and I'm quite new to, but I'll do my best to convey my ideas in the cleanest form possible. The topics I have coming up in the next few episodes are very nice and thoughtful topics, and I hope that you do enjoy them. So after this, do well to click on the next episode so that you could get an actual podcast experience from yours truly, PK Aliu, as this was just an introduction. And that's all for now. Until next time, keep moving and keep growing. Peace.